Hey folks, my name's Kevin and it's time for a little bit more knife nerdery. Today we're unboxing a LionSTEEL ROK that was loaned to me by Jake from Bearded Gear. That's incredibly nice of him and very generous, but it's also really good timing because in just a couple of hours I'm going to be filming an episode of his podcast with him. I don't know when this will air, I don't know when that will air, so who knows, but I think it's just a really, serendipitous that this kind of arrived when it did. It's also fun getting to see how thorough his taping job is. I know he's commented on that in the past, but boy does he cover every single possible nook. Yeah, so this knife came out in 2018, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't anticipate really liking it. It's not really going to be the kind of knife that I would go for in terms of a usable knife, but what made me want to try this so much, and I think what made Jake too want to try it as well, is just how, ambitious they were being. Wow, very nice and thorough. I'll keep all of this. Oh, that's fun, I forgot. Yeah, Jake tends to send stickers. Ooh, these are cool. Oh, and the new Left Concepts one. These are really fun. Okay. Right, yeah, so basically, they just got super freaking ambitious and tried to do a whole bunch of weird things all in one knife. Let's see. Do I have this right side up, upside down? I don't know if there's a way of knowing. Aha. This is my first LionSTEEL that I've ever unboxed, so I didn't know how they're going to package it. Hide what annoys you. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, I wonder what went there. No idea. Okay, so this, how do I get it out? Ooh. This is the LionSTEEL ROK, and it is pronounced ROK, even though it's written in all capital letters. It is, it's not an initialism. You don't say R.O.K, I guess. I don't 100% know what that stands for. I've seen rumors that it's something related to, like the rock with an umlaut of the O, rune stone from Norse mythology. I don't know. But right off the bat, one of the innovative things that they're doing is they're putting a NFC chip in here, which is how it brings up a, a website with like the specs and everything for this. Not necessarily this particular one, but the ROK in general. And that's something you'll see, like the certificate of authenticity card on a Holt Haptic or Spectre or something like that. So it's interesting that they did that back in 2018 when this came out. Right off the bat, this is pretty heavy for an aluminum handled knife. But I think that's going to come down to look how freaking chunk this blade steel is. Oh my god. Yeah, I hate this flipper tab already. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. Wow, that is a strong lock bar. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm not on the detent ball yet. Urgh. Okay, that's another thing that's annoying me right off the bat. That in order to get up onto this detent ball, you basically have to crush your thumb. Okay, and then... Okay, not bad. So they made this knife in a titanium version, and this is the aluminum version. It is an integral knife. One continuous piece of aluminum isn't milled out. This is the first time I've ever actually held an integral knife. By the way, why do people say integral? I don't know. I might be saying it wrong, but I grew up using the word integral both just kind of like in the general linguistic sense, meaning it's important or that it's integrated, or in the mathematics sense, because I'm that kind of math nerd, and so I've always said integral for calculus and everything like that. Is there a reason why people say integral? I don't know. But one of the cool things that this does, as I just said, is it is an integral knife. So this is a single piece of aluminum that is milled out both in this direction and then in this fourth dimension for them to be able to cut this space in. And that in of itself is really pretty neat. But there are other integral knives. What does this one do that's particularly interesting? Comes right here and right here and right here. I've never handled one of these. I know there are other people that do this, but this is a removable flipper tab. I'm pretty confident I can say I hate this flipper tab design in the sense that it already feels bad. You really have to kind of give it some oomph to push into. I think the shape of it and everything is bad. You can kind of use it as a push button, but the fact that it is removable is a really interesting concept. I can't wait to see what it feels like to actually use this without this in, because I'm concerned about the hole that's left over and what that ends up feeling like, or even the hole right there, what this feels like. Honestly, that's not that bad. The next thing that's really interesting about this knife, I guess, is this. Oh, by the way, they call this, I should mention that, they have a cute name for this. It's called their H.WAYL system. It's literally H.WAYL. I don't know why, but they put a period after the H. So like the way they officially formally write this is H period W-A-Y-L. And what that stands for is literally hide what annoys you, comma, LionSTEEL. Whoop, I'm talking about the wrong thing. That's this. So that brings us to this. This is the clip. This they call the removable flipper tab. The clip hides into the knife. You can see that there's a button on the back and it's spring loaded. And when you push this out, this is popping out. And it's a little bit pivotable, so you can actually lean it back and get it up onto your, I do not like that action. You can get it onto your pocket. And the whole idea is that pocket clips are annoying when you have them in your hand, and that they feel bad when you're trying to use the knife. And so they say, hide what annoys you. Now, the fact that it's hide what annoys you, comma, LionSTEEL, and they include that comma in their official verbiage, I find that just very amusing. I get that they're an Italian company, it's English as a second language, maybe that's why, but I just find the fact that they included the LionSTEEL there pretty amusing. I will say right off the bat that having this out of the way does feel nice, but it is a reasonably odd motion that I'm sure you could get used to. I'm gonna have to play with that and see. Oof, no, I hate this flipper tab. Oh my god, there's so much lockbar pressure that this does just not want to come out. Yeah, I want to see what's going on inside here. Jake said that I am free to carry and use this knife, but I also know that he's going to sell it the moment it gets back to him, so I'm not going to do anything that would threaten meaningfully changing the state of this knife. So I may or may not disassemble this. He said he's okay with me disassembling it. The reason why I'm not sure if I would want to or not is because I watched an assembly video, which is different. LionSTEEL put out an actual machine shop tour assembly video of this, and I noticed that they use a proprietary tool that they built in-house, not like anything fancy, to basically wedge this open when they're putting it together. And the idea is that there is a slight amount of tension here that's holding this in naturally, and so to make this fit in and slide in, the lady who was doing it in the video literally takes this wedge thing that's just a certain size and shoves it in here, which pulls this off just enough to let them slide this in and not spring it. I'm gonna have to see how easily this moves around and see if I actually want to be ambitious enough. I feel pretty comfortable with saying I could do it and not damage the knife, but it might be more of a pain in the butt than I actually want. Wow, yeah, it is really easy to do that. I forgot, the last thing here is this is something they call their RotoBlock, and the idea is that this over travel stop, because a lot of knives you'll see have an over travel stop positioned kind of here, just like that. Instead of having it built into the lock face insert here, oftentimes this piece of metal here will just extend further down and make it so that it won't go past the frame right here. But a common design, I forget who exactly created this, but I'm pretty sure it's probably Hinderer, considering how iconic it looks on Hinderer knives. They introduced this little putting a screw right here as the over travel stop. But these folks added this new innovation, which is patented. This turns, and what that does, I don't know how easily you'll be able to see, this is a screw, and the depth of this positioning here, as you turn this, moves inward in a way that prevents you from moving this back over. This is now literally locked. And the reality is this is kind of difficult to turn accidentally, and when it is locked, this is very locked. And so that's actually kind of cool because it doesn't take up really any more meaningful space. It's a little bit rough, but not in a place that you would ever feel that. And so the fact that this can lock this knife up, that's kind of neat and makes this a little bit more compelling for a harder use knife. But at the same time, it's an aluminum frame knife. Who's going to use that for harder use? But it does have the blade steel to use that. I mean, this is like, I think 0.18. That's an incredibly beefy knife. I'm going into way too much detail here. This is just meant to be an unboxing. Instead, I'm already going into a whole lot of the design. Anyway, point is the other reason why I'm not sure if I actually want to take this apart is in the assembly, the factory assembly video. Some of these pieces here are compression fit in. Like they literally are hammering them in with a mallet. And I am not 100% sure that this is actually meant to be disassembled. But I know that this comes off with a simple screw, and this entire thing should be able to come off. And generally speaking, this should be able to come off the way any other integral disassembly would be, where you just pull out this pivot and slide this whole thing out as a single unit. Like I said, I will cautiously test the grounds, and I may or may not take this apart. But either way, what I'm going to do is spend a long time looking at exactly how they implement these different features. And since I don't think they're going to be a particularly great version of any of these individual things, I'm going to try and think hard about how they could have done these things instead to make them just a little bit more usable. Right off the bat, I can already tell you this flipper should be shaped differently. But how do you make that? Like, how could they do that and have a screw that comes in still? Because a screw has to be straight, so this can't be curved in any kind of meaningful way. Anyway, this will be a really fun one to play with, and I will have a review up sooner than later because I want to get this back to Jake as quick as I can so that he can move this along. Wow, this is so freaking chonk. It's just, I can't believe how heavy this is. I think it's like, it's not that it's that heavy. I think it's only like 4.5 ounces for the aluminum version, but it's an aluminum handle knife, and you compare that to something like, you know, also an aluminum handle knife, and this weighs half that. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and yeah, see you around.